Good morning, students. Myself, Dr. Vijender Singh Tawar, Associate Professor in English. And presently, I have been posted at Government College, Gudal. In this video series of lectures, which is being prepared by me for the students of English literature, today's video is meant for the students of BA Part 3rd, Paper 2nd. And in this video, we are going to talk about the character of Marco in the famous novel of R.K. Narayan, The Guide. As it is our practice that we begin the discussion about the introduction by giving introduction to the author. So let us start with introduction to the author. R.K. Narayan was born in 1906 and died in 2001. From the very early life, he wanted to be a writer, though he could not get success. He wrote many works. He went to publishers and wanted that his work should be published, but he was not encouraged. On the contrary, he was discouraged. Once he met Graham Greene, a famous personality in the field of literature from England. First thing Graham Greene suggested to R.K. Narayan that he used to write his full name, Rasipuram Krishna Swami Iyer Narayan Swami. He suggested that you shorten your name. And at his request or suggestion, R.K. Narayan changed his name from Rasipuram Krishna Swami Iyer Narayan Swami to R.K. Narayan. Now R.K. Narayan is very famous personality in the field of novels. He is India's greatest English language novelist. He has written many novels, and all his works are based on a fictional town named Malgudi. Malgudi in reality does not exist anywhere in India, but if we make analysis of the features and other things of the Malgudi, we can say it is somewhere in South India. Moreover, the author R.K. Narayan has the ability to highlight the social context and provide a feel of the characters through the simple narration of everyday life. He is often compared with William Faulkner because both William Faulkner and R.K. Narayan, they brought out the humor and energy of ordinary life and also displayed compassionate humanism in their works. Along with Mulk Raj Anand and Raja Rao, R.K. Narayan forms the triumvirate of Indian literature in English, particularly Indo-Anglian literature. He is credited with bringing English language writing from India to the rest of the world. Means it is his works which attracted the attention of the world about India. Now let us come to the novel. The novel is entitled The Guide, and it is regarded as the one of the most popular novel of R.K. Narayan. It was written in 1958 and it was awarded Sahitya Academy Award in 1960. It is Narayan's masterpiece and has been translated into several languages of the world. It is taught in almost all the countries of the world. It has become an immortal classic of world literature and has a special appeal for the East as well as the West. It breathes an aroma of typical Indian life. The novel is thoroughly Indian, not only in its characters, but also in its theme, that is subject matter, scene and ideas. The novelist catches its Indianness in the form of the social and economic life of the country at that time. He holds the mirror to the Indian society of the 30s. Means in 1930s, Indian society was that type of society, or the members of the society behave and respond to various issues as has been presented in the novel. He captures the rapidly changing social, economic, and religious values of that time. The novel depicts the story of love triangle, husband, wife, and infest lover. The title of the novelist is very appropriate and highly suggestive, for it is the story of a man who begins his career as a tourist guide and is gradually transformed into a spiritual guide. The theme deals with the fact that faced with compulsive circumstances, even an ordinary man can attain extraordinary personality and spiritual stature. Love and marriage are also important part of the theme of the novel. The interaction, the cause and consequence of love and marriage is beautifully depicted in the novel. Means the novel gives an idea that he was interested in on social issues and he wanted some kind of change, or he expected some kind of change from the society. Now our character, that is Marco. Marco is one of those densely enigmatic characters, an mysterious character who frequently appear in Narayan's novel and are assigned minor roles. When such kind of characters are given only short role or minor roles, and they are mysterious, and he is one of them. They are odd, eccentric characters, like notes in wood, who keep away from the mainstream of human life. That means their behavior, their attitude, their reactions and actions, they do not have the similarity with the behavior and reaction of the ordinary human beings of the society. Means they are odd men out, we can say. Marco comes to Malgudi with his wife Roji and with his water divine instinct. Means he was interested in a particular aim, or his aim of life was to research the statues in the caves. Raju at once realizes that he is a permanent customer. The first glimpse of the man is seen in the following description. Raju looks at him and he observes and he describes what he sees without any hiding anything. He says, he, that is Marco, dressed like a man about to undertake an expedition with his thick colored glasses. He was wearing thick colored glasses, thick jacket, and a thick helmet, over which was perpetually stretched a green, sheeny, waterproof cover, giving him the appearance of a space traveler. This is the first impression of Marco for Raju. From this, we can say that it appears that he is not a normal person. He is having some kind of abnormality in his behavior or dress. We don't know his real name, but Raju calls him Marco, for he looks like an eternal tourist. Marco and Roji are not able to put on together, for in his zeal for and devotion to his archaeological studies. As I told you, it was the aim of Marco and he was fully devoted to that aim. He takes no interest in his young and charming wife, Roji, that is Roji. Raju thinks of Marco in relation to Roji as a monkey is picking up a rose garland. Means there was no match between Roji and Marco. Roji was very beautiful and Marco doesn't deserve that kind of wife. Marco has an abnormal taste. This is the reason why he fails to get on well with Roji. That is why they were not in a good relationship with each other. Marco is not at all a practical man. Perhaps he married out of a desire to have some assistant in his work. Perhaps he married that he will get an assistant and also wife. Unfortunately, his choice was wrong. Rosie is herself a dreamer. She needs someone to take care of her. She does not like to see the cold old stone walls. Means her husband was interested in statues made of stones, and she was interested in her dance. So they were poles apart in their thinking. She finds that her wealthy husband is more interested in books, papers, painting, and old art than in being a real live husband. He was not interested in her young wife. When Marco decided to stay on to explore the cave painting more fully, Raju takes charge of Rosie and soon becomes her ardent lover. Rosie is not to be blamed if she is Rosie is not to be blamed if she drifts towards Raju. If she is attracted towards Raju, it is not the fault of Rosie. She suffers neglect at the hands of her husband. Means her husband did not pay any attention to her. Marco has no patience with her passion of dancing. He calls it acrobats and monkey tricks. This is too much for Rosie. Means as a husband, he is a failure. But at the same time, he does not support and admire her likes. This was also the reason of rift between husband and wife. Marco is blind to the physical and emotional needs of Rosie. Her relation with Raju gave him a rude shock. Means Marco was shocked when he came to know about the physical relationship between Raju and Rosie. He is stunned, surprised, unable to believe, to learn of what they had been doing in the hotel room. He cannot understand how a wife can be unfaithful to her husband even once and can still be in love with him. To Rosie's passionate appeal, Rosie, after that relationship, Rosie realized her mistake and she appealed to her husband. She said, I want to be with you. I want you to forget everything. I want you to forgive me. He replied, yes, I am trying to forget even the earlier fact that I ever took a wife. I want to go out from here too, but I want to complete my work. And I am here for that. You are free to go and do what you please. Means he did not forgive her and he had a kind of extreme sense of this relationship. He did not try to patch up, but he tried to break this relationship. And he gave absolute freedom to Rosie to do what she wanted to do. He becomes cold, cruel, and indifferent to her. He does not even look at her. He does not eat the food that she touches. He does not sleep on the bed on which she lies. He is deaf to her appeals. He cannot forgive her for what she has done. He disowns her as his wife. No doubt every husband would behave in a similar way towards an adulterous wife. Adulterous means a wife who has relationship with other than her husband. But who is responsible for driving Rosie in this direction? But now the question arises: who is responsible, Rosie or Marco himself? Undoubtedly, Marco himself is responsible for all this. Marco is an eccentric, and his eccentricity has been brought in various ways. He's eccentric; he's not a normal person. He is very odd in his dresses, well as behavior. Means his behavior was also eccentric. For example, he would not part with an enemy. He would not give even a single paisa to you without a voucher. He wants a receipt. Whereas if you give him a slip of paper that is a receipt, you could probably get him to give his entire fortune. You can get all his property. Stern, self-centered, and self-righteous. He was a pig person, means who thinks that he is always right. He thinks he has acquired his body and soul and thinks his rights over his property are unlimited. He was an old fashioned person who believed that if he has married a woman, everything belongs to him. Dancing is to him, as to many Orthodox men and women of the old school, another name for prostitution. He did not sport or like dancing. This was one of the biggest reason of the rift between Marco and Rosie. Marco leaves for Madras, but even though he is not physically there, means he is not present in the novel, he seems to be an ominous, overhanging presence. Rosie never forgets him and cuts his picture from the Illustrated Weekly, a magazine, as it framed, keeps it on her dressing table. Long for, after all, he is my husband. She used to say, after all, Marco is her husband. She is grateful to him for he let her go while any other man would have throttled his wife under the same struggle. Killed her by strangled. Some such sentiments expressed frequently induce in Raju a feeling of insecurity. He is afraid that she would desert him and go back to her husband. So first he hides from her the book written by Marco, and then secondly he forges her signature on the voucher so that he may get the ornaments without her being aware of her husband's generosity. Mr. Raju had some sense of insecurity. That is why he did not want that Rosie should know about the success of Marco, who has published a wonderful book. And another incident happened when he himself forges the Rosie signature to get the jewelry box. Whether the result of a clever trick on the part of Marco or not, whether it's by chance or by, you can say, clever trick which is planned by Marco, the forgery lands Raju in jail. Raju is jailed. In this way, he has revenge on the seducer of his wife. The character of Marco has been very consummately drawn, means very seriously, keeping everything in the requirement of the situation, etc. Though it exists in a small cell, it is a minor character, yet it leaves an indelible mark on our consciousness, right, which cannot be removed. The impact it casts on the mind of the reader. The cuckolded husband, cuckolded means a husband whose wife is unfaithful, who had relations with other than her husband. Is not a same tainted, is ashamed of the failure. He is not like that, but rises above the impulses with impressive disdain. But he slowly gets a place from where he can say that he's not ashamed of what he has happened in his life. His reputation has been damaged, but it could not be scotched, which is abundantly redeemed by his rocketing success in his remarkable publication. Means he slowly and slowly got so much success that as a husband, as a man whose wife is unfaithful to him, he got that place from where he can say he is not at all a saint person. It is a well-built character from the point of view of his personality, which has been depicted forcefully by the writer. But again, we find the lacuna in it, see, weakness in it. The manifestation of psychological surprises is evidently missing from the character. We do not have that kind of psychological behavior which we find in a normal characters. He is in most parts of the surface, but not flat like Raju in Piri. He is not flat. There are two kinds of character, flat and round. He is not a flat like Raju. The proportionate strength is given to a character by the novelist. The best drawn character is Rosie in the novel, and the second best is that of Marco. The flatness of the character is due to his being of one piece. Means he is the same person whether you see him in external behavior or internal thinking. There is the dramatic sameness, something monotonous, which makes it so coldly drawn by the artist. It appears that the author has drawn it without having any feeling because of his role. In spite of his failings, Marco has a few good qualities. He is a true scholar and an honest man. Just as dancing is a passion with Rosie, so also the study of ancient caves is a passion with Marco. Marco was interested. It was the aim of his life to study caves and do some kind of research in this field. Keeping in view his age, his intellectual pursuits, his sexual coldness is but not natural. Means a person who is more intellectual and aged, it is natural on his part that sexually he will be cold. We cannot expect Marco different from what he is. Means what we find in the novel is the perfect personality in the form of Marco, which is the requirement of the story. But he is of one piece and does not give us the dramatic surprise by the way of emotional change. This we can say that because he is one piece that is same from outside and from inside of the thinking. He is a memorable character and his place is fixed in English literature as a character. Thank you very much.